This morning at approximately 8:11 a.m., our officers executed a search warrant related to the drug investigation at the residence in the 1700 block of Windsor Drive. At the time, there was 4 occupants in the home. We can confirm that shots were fired, resulting in non-life-threatening injuries to a male occupant in the residence.
All right, there you see Rocky Mount, North Carolina Police Chief, Mr. Robert Hassell, at a press conference Monday after an officer-involved shooting injured a 19 or 20-year-old black male in the midst of a drug warrant search in a home in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Now, the police chief, as you'll see during the conference, admitted that shots were fired and an officer was the one who fired the shots. Now, this drug raid was served at 8 in the morning, and according to these reports that you will hear, it was about 4 men in the house. Most importantly, there were no illegal substances found at the scene, and no arrest was made. And so we have to ask ourselves, why did the officer feel that it was necessary to fire his weapon? Now, during this press conference that you will see, you'll hear the chief being mighty vague about what happened. Did anybody else fire a shot? I can't answer that question. Was the suspect part of, the investigation? I can't answer this question. What is the name of the officer? I can't answer that question. And so that is once again an example of the protection that these police have. I have no doubt in my mind that it was probably an unwarranted, unforced, and unneeded shooting of that man. And this is a constant thing that keeps happening to young black males when they encounter police. Now, mind you, this happened Monday, 2 days ago. No national coverage. I found this article looking for another article for some time ago, and this popped up, and this happened 2 days ago. Rocky Mount is only 45 minutes away from where I live. And so once again, you have a black sheriff in these towns where these things keep happening. And so I'm going to play you this news article that's going to give you a little more clarity about the situation. Then I'll come back with some more commentary. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the video.
From local stories to Wayne County news, get ready to dive into everything happening in North Carolina with Taylor House Publishing. Got a story to share? Shoot us an email at taylorpublishinghouse@gmail.com. If you're looking to publish your book or need some top-notch mentorship, we've got your back. Join the excitement with the one and only Richard Taylor, right here at Taylor House Publishing. Speak with Richard directly at 919-587-7782. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and invite your family and friends to watch.
From Wayne County to the Carolina coast, Taylor House brings the news you love most. Tune in on YouTube, don't miss a beat. Local stories that keep you in your feet.
Taylor House, we got the scoop. Taylor House Publishing.
A man is recovering after he was shot during a run-in with police. This happening in Rocky Mount. It all happening this morning during a drug investigation, and that is where we find WRAL's Sean Gallagher. Sean, how is the man who was shot?
Ashley, that man was already released from the hospital, and police actually just finished up their investigation here within the last 20 minutes or so. But the focus has largely been on this house here right behind me as part of this drug investigation. About 8 hours they were here going through this house, and police tell us there were 4 people at home when they initiated this search warrant. None of them and no one else has been arrested. This is what people in this Rocky Mount neighborhood woke up to on what would be an otherwise quiet Monday morning.
I didn't know nothing about this was going on until I looked out the window. There she was, and I was looking like, oh damn, they gonna dogs out and all that?
Well, I just heard a lot of screaming back in the backyard.
According to Rocky Mount Police, they were serving a search warrant at this home.
We were following up on an investigation we were conducting in that area, which is the reason why we was there.
And it's the reason
it don't make me feel good.
Nye Avery wants to move. It's not the first time she's heard gunshots nearby.
2 people got shot in my yard since I've been here, so I hope they get it together.
So Rocky Mount Police say that they are not releasing the name of the officer who was involved in this shooting, only saying that he is on paid administrative leave while the state investigates this shooting. Sean Gallagher, WRAL News in Rocky Mount.
All right, so there you see the news article where they're saying that they searched the apartment for nearly 8 hours, finding nothing. But yet and still, the young man was the victim of police gunfire. Fortunately for him, he survived. And probably fortunately for the officer, or beneficial to the officer, he's been placed on administrative leave. And that is something that they do. So actually, if you shoot a black person who's unarmed, you get paid leave. You get time off from work. And again, once again, you have one of these towns with a black sheriff who is sit there, in my opinion, to excuse these type of behavior, or to make it seem like, okay, we have a black police chief, so, there's nothing wrong here. And so now I'm going to play this conference, a little bit of this conference, to let you see how vague this police chief is going to give answers, but he's also going to talk about transparency at the same time. Definitely oxymoron. Just watch this video.
Approximately 8:11 a.m., our officers executed a search warrant related to a drug investigation at the residence in the 1700 block of Windsor Drive. At the time, there was 4 occupants in the home. We can confirm that shots were fired, resulting in non-life-threatening injuries to a male occupant in the residence. Mutual aid or medical aid was provided immediately at the scene, and the individual was transported to a local hospital. He has since been released from the hospital. No officers were injured during this incident. It is important to note that we are still in the early stages of this investigation. We did, early on in this investigation, was in communication with our district attorney, Mr. Marsigli, and we did contact the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigations, which is part of our protocol, who will lead these types of investigations. I will also inform you that the officer involved in this officer-involved shooting has, per our protocol, been placed on administrative assignment. We understand that the community concerns, that there are community concerns, and that we are committed to maintaining transparency as this investigation unfolds. Further updates will be provided from the PIO of the Rocky Mount Police Department as they are made available to us. And as we have said initially, there are some things we are not able to answer at this time, but we will open ourselves up for some questions at this time.
Yeah, how many people fired a weapon?
I'm not able to reveal that at this time. As you know, as I stated earlier, we're still in the investigation on this, but there was shots fired.
Did any officers fire their weapon?
I'm not able to answer that at this time because, the SBI is leading that investigation. I'll leave that for them to respond to that question.
If there is an officer who's on administrative duty, can you tell us why?
Well, anytime an officer is involved in a shooting, then it is our protocol, 1, to call in the SBI to lead that investigation, and then 2, the officer is placed on administrative duty or leave.
So does that mean that he did fire a weapon?
Yeah, the officer did fire his weapon.
Do we know how many times?
And see, look, there he goes. First he says it was an officer-involved shooting. We don't know how many people fired. He was asked, did the officer fire a weapon? I can't say that. Why is the officer on leave? I can't say that. Then the guy really asked him again, so did the officer fire a weapon? Yes, he fired a weapon. Why are you trying to protect someone who possibly done something wrong. That is the issue with these police investigations and these internal investigations and these SBI investigations. They're going to do everything that they can to protect the police officers no matter what, because once again, the blue shield is, and the thin blue line is a line that, you know, nobody wants to cross. And you'll see him once again furthermore place more emphasis on the officer's well-being than the individual who was hit by gunfire by the officer.
I cannot answer that this time.
Do we know who fired first and who fired next in what sequence?
As all this will come out with the investigation conducted by the SBI, I cannot answer that at this time.
Can you say the name of the officer? Can you say what the administrative duty means technically, and if it's with pay or without pay?
It's typically with pay. In this case, it is with pay.
Can you say the name?
No, we are not releasing the officer name at this time. You know, it will be forthcoming at a later time.
Do you have any details on the victim and the age of the victim?
No, I know the victim or the citizen that sustained the injury was in his early 20s, maybe 19, but I cannot confirm that this time.
Was it one of the four in the house that y'all found?
It was one of the four in the house.
And one thing happened when I was there, y'all were calling out with a bullhorn, and I think the siren, that whoever the person was, you occupant of such and such, come out with your hands up. Was there somebody actually still believed to be in the residence, and was that person found not to be in the residence? Can you clear something?
Well, we just wanted to make sure all the occupants in the residence were outside of the home, so that was done at that time.
Okay.
4 occupants were in the house and all came out.
Did the shooting happen outside or inside the home?
It was at the residence, is the best I can give you at this moment, as they were executing the search warrant.
Is anybody taken into custody?
At this time, no.
Are there other suspects?
We're still in this preliminary part of this investigation, but at this moment, we are not seeking anyone, no.
Has anybody been arrested?
There have been no arrests.
And the person that was shot, were they a resident of that home or a visitor?
I can't advise whether he was a resident or just visiting home. I just know he was an occupant.
Is he connected at all to this initial investigation with the search warrant being served?
Of course, I can't answer that at this moment.
We have 2 more questions.
Was this the appropriate house?
Yes, we have nothing to believe that this was not the house subject of the investigation.
Were any weapons recovered at the scene?
I cannot answer that at this time.
You can answer your question and that'll be it.
Yeah, there are a number of residents there who say that this type of activity is not it is common. Do you have any response to the type of activity that happens in the neighborhood?
I don't have that readily available in front of me, but we were investigating. We were following up on an investigation we were conducting in that area, which is the reason why we was there.
So was there no one in the house when you, I want to make sure when you were calling for the exit, was there no one in the house at that time? And while y'all had the officers pull back, I just want to clear on that. Are there people already exited the house by the time that you had called this person to come out? You were asking to come out.
I'm not exactly sure what point you're referring to, but I do know there was announcements to ensure that all people exit the home. Some people did exit the home until there was no one left in the home, and it was verified. 1 or 2. Any more questions?
What's the next process after SBI? Does it go to the DA?
Yes, typically in these investigations, once the SBI completes that, they will forward that report to the district attorney's office for his review.
And y'all doing your own internal investigations too?
We conducted administrative investigation.
So
yes, sir.
Conducting this as we speak?
Yes, sir. We will run that kind of in tandem with the criminal investigation.
Right. That's professional standards investigated, so
Correct. That's led by a professional standards captain.
Why was this house targeted?
It was a drug investigation.
But nobody was found inside that was a part of that investigation?
There was occupants in the residence. I cannot tell you at this time whether it was tied to that drug investigation or not.
we're talking about selling drugs suspected?
I cannot answer that at this time. I would like to thank everyone for coming. We do appreciate our partnership with our media partners here in the Rocky Mount coverage area. I will also note that, there is no ongoing threat or anything to the community. I want to make sure we assure the community of that. I want to also say again that we believe in transparency. So you will get another update hopefully today or tomorrow in reference to this investigation with whatever details we can release to you at that time. And of course, my concern also is that we be transparent, that we cooperate with this investigation, on the administrative investigation, of course, with the investigation being conducted by the SBI, but also to ensure that we take care of our officers. This is a situation that I'm sure is can weigh on an officer, so we're taking care of the officers by having resources brought in so officers can, whatever counseling may be necessary.
All right, so once again, at the end of this, he wasn't able to answer probably 75% of the questions. And if you notice, the only questions he was able to answer was questions that put the police in a good light. Like the man asked him, was this the right house? Oh yeah, it was the right house. But every other question said, okay, well, who fired first? I can't answer that. How many times? I can't answer that. What's the name of the officer? Well, we're not giving out that. Was the person, was he even involved in the investigation? I can't answer this. You know what I'm saying? So there, he talks about transparency, but he gives none. He gives them. Every answer that he gave was favorable to police running in there and, almost probably unaliving someone. And at the end, he mentions what? The welfare of the officers. We want to make sure that they get counseling. This could be weighing on them. They always turn it, as Malcolm X said, the criminal into the victim and the victim into the criminal. They're garnering simply, he shot somebody, so, he's doing really bad. And a lot of these officers, once again, know that they have the green light because they have a whole machine. They have a whole system, just like this system right here with him protecting the officer. Why is the officer's name not being released? And then he said that they're going to give updates. Here it is Wednesday, and this is the only article I can find about the situation. So if you are from Rocky Mount and you're watching this video, feel free to call me, 919-587-7782, to give some insight. If you know the man who was hit, he wants to tell his story, make sure you tell him to call me, 919-587-7782, because once again, this is a national epidemic. What once was a shocking and appalling occurrence is now not even national news. And that is a problem. We definitely have to address this. But once again, you got to stay vigilant. Ephesians 5:11. Take no part in the works of darkness, rather expose them. And that's what we're going to continue to do on this channel. We're going to expose them. Peace and blessings. Thanks for watching.
Right here at Taylor House Publishing. Speak with Richard directly at 919-587-7782. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and invite your family and friends to watch.
From Wayne County to the Carolina coast, Taylor House brings the news you love most. Tune in on YouTube, don't miss a beat. Local stories that keep you on your feet.
Taylor House, we got the school. Taylor House Publishing.